Good morning, people. Happy Saturday to you. Time for Saturday morning cartoons. Just getting up, just getting started. I like being up early. Wife still sleeps, so she's getting her rest. Had a couple technical difficulties early, so had to figure some things out. I did not get a chance to make me some tea this morning, but I got my water, so we're gonna deal with that. As you know, my name is Coach Marcus. This is Pro Fan Talk, and you are on Saturday morning cartoons. This is my first time really doing this for real. So I'm hoping some people will join in. I know it's early on Saturday, but when you was a kid, that's what you did. You woke up and watched cartoons. But make no mistake, this is a sports show. We are talking about sports and the topics of the day. Cartoons is just the icebreaker. And as you see in my background, I got my guy Space Ghost. I was a big fan of like the mid to late '60s Hanna-Barbera cartoons. Space Ghost, Herculoids. I said that last week. Herculoids was my absolute favorite. But that whole, they had the cheesy '60s robots. All of the robots looked the same. You had, I watched, um, I watched this last night with Moltar, and I thought it was funny that he's one of the space villains, and when he's in his lair launching all of the robots, he's sitting on a rock. He ain't even have enough money for furniture. So I just thought that was funny. But but yeah, man. But we got some stuff going on today. We got the Colorado game. Uh Looking at the Eagles. Eagles, there's a big thing going on with the Eagles about are they, what's going on with the defense, because you got Puka Nacua, you got Cooper Cup coming back. Um, you got all of these things happening. And the biggest issue the Eagles are dealing with right now is injuries. We are paying the price for our for how things went down last year, because we didn't have many injuries. We had C.J. Gardner Johnson go down, but you look at, I think Avante Maddox went down last year as well. But in the big scheme of things, we did not have a lot of bad injuries. Um, so the law of averages has caught up with us, and we're dealing with it because ever since, even in preseason, we was all like, the injuries were killing us, man. The injuries were killing us. So that's one thing we need to get over. We need to have some guys made of this stuff that Moltar is using to make these robots, because man, this has been challenging. This has been challenging. We got most of our secondary out or has been out at one point in time, and we only going into week 5. So I'm hoping that this is going to even itself out with us, where we have a couple more clean games, especially because we're going to need it coming up to this murderer's row we got uh, coming up in the next couple weeks. Our schedule gets super tough. Where is my? I know I had them. Let me see. I'm always looking for stuff because stuff is moving. I got to clean out this office. Something fierce. There we go. So my little handy dandy Eagle schedule. But so listen to this when they talk about the murderer's row, right? So we at the Rams this week. Then we go up the street to the Jets next week. Then we go down to Miami, no, Miami comes here. Miami comes here on the 22nd. And then we go to Washington. Washington's going to be a tough game, man. All of our division games, with the exception maybe of the Giants, are always tough the last couple of years. And even the Giants game was it wasn't a layup. We ain't getting no homecoming game. So you got yeah. Then we go back to Washington. Then November 5th we got the big Dallas game. Dallas comes to town, so that's going to be a good game. And there's going to be a lot of a lot of people watching Dallas and San Fran. Matter of fact, let me pull it up because I didn't mean to. Dallas versus San Fran. So this is going to be a good game. Dallas is at San Francisco. So that's last year. See what kind of news we got. Preview Fox Sports. I will try that. Predictions, odds, picks. Yeah, I don't get into all of that. Hey, Joel Embiid's playing for the Team USA Summer Team. Yay! Um, right now, this game is going to determine who controls the NFC East. Even though it's either going to be us or San Francisco. If San Francisco wins this game, um, right now, I say San Francisco is a better team than we are right now. That's just keeping it real. Um, we both undefeated. Even if we manage to, it depends on how they lose. If they lose, I don't see them losing to Dallas. I will take San Francisco's defense over Dallas's offense. Did I say that right? Yes. I will take San Francisco's defense over Dallas's offense. Both defenses are tops. I believe Dallas is number one right now, and San Francisco's number three. So you got two top five defenses going at it, right? But the offense is the key, and I think San Francisco has a better offense and an offensive system and offensive weapons um, than Dallas. So I'm expecting San Francisco to come out on top on this, especially playing at home. So we'll see what they do. Cody K, good morning, bro. Appreciate you, man. Number one out the limo, dude. Much appreciation, dude. Give you the first one. What's good? But yeah, man. So whoever, let me say it like this: if San Francisco wins this game, they're controlling the division. Everything's gonna run through San Francisco, and I'm saying that even if we come out on top in LA, because right now I just think San Francisco is playing at a higher level right now. We still figuring stuff out, and the good thing about that is yes, we are figuring stuff out, and we still undefeated. But our first, I guess, our first real test, in my opinion, LA Rams is going to be the best team that we played. So that should be a good game. This dude Puka Nacua, I keep laughing at his name because he sounds like something from a Pixar film or from the Muppets. Puka Nacua. And for everything I've heard about him, he wasn't like a missed draft pick. It wasn't like he had a sensational, phenomenal college career. It wasn't like his combine workout was through the roof, anything like that. He's a big kid. He's got good speed. He doesn't have great speed. He's like 4.5, mid 4.5. He's not even like low 4.5s or 4.4. He's like 4.55. So that's mid speed. That's good. Um, Bordering on average. So, but he's a big kid and he's just catching everything that's thrown at him. And when you got Stafford slinging you the ball, that makes you that much better. Um, so we have got a issue dealing with him. We are going to have an issue because our secondary has problems right now. We can't stay healthy. We're still having an issue passing coverage. So anytime, and we're going to see this for the rest of the year until we find a way to fix it. They're going to they're going to be sending guys in motion, And you know how they did it against Washington. They put the guy in jet motion. And if you're in man coverage, you got to pass that coverage off or you got to run with him. Or you're shifting the coverage. And for whatever reason, the Eagles have been having problems with that. We even had problems last year with that in the Super Bowl. So it's not necessarily the scheme. All the different schemes are asking for the same thing, but for whatever reason, we're not doing it. Or no, we're not doing it efficiently. And we're losing time and creating space for the opponents. Because every time they get us in a situation where we got to shift coverage or banjo over, uh, the receivers are wide open. When anytime you can force a linebacker, a defensive back, a safety, anytime as a receiver or a running back, if you can force that guy to turn his hips or just to delay one step, take a step backwards to the wrong direction, one step creates about 3 yards, almost 3 yards worth of space. So if I'm going full speed to my left and the one dude takes a step backwards or to the right, uh, the wrong direction, he's already lost. And now he's playing catch up. And I'm going full speed and I know which way I'm going. That's why like AJ Brown's double moves are so uh, good and so effective. If you jump on that route and he turns it upfield, he's beat. He's beat by about 5 yards. All it takes is that one step. That's why I always harp on the Eagles should be running more play action out of pistol, where literally Jalen Hurts will stick that ball out to the left or to the right, and the running back makes a fake. Even if it's a BS fake, all you need is that one step. And if you got a running back like DeAndre Swift, what happens is because of his running ability in general, defenses has to come up to respect him. Because if they don't, then we gut them with the run. And that's the way we should set it up. So we've got to figure out a way to um, get our guys in space, and we've got to figure out a way on defense to protect that middle because Matthew Stafford is a 1-2-3 throw guy when he needs to be. Now, Stafford's got a hip injury. They haven't talked too much about it for obvious reasons. Um, but he's got a hip injury. But Stafford is not a mobile quarterback anyways. So all his hip needs to be is good enough for him to drop back 3, 5, and 7 steps and deliver the ball. So based on everything that's happened the last couple of weeks against our defense, I'm looking at 3 and 5 step drops and from that ball to be coming out very quickly. He's not going to stand around in the pocket because if he does, with his offensive line, our D line is going to kill him. We might end up with 5 or 6 sacks like we did against Washington. And even with the sacks we had against Washington, it didn't seem like that because Sam Howell kept making big plays. So we got to find a way to get home. I want to see if Haason Reddick has finally woken up. He had the sack last week. And let's see if he's finally woken up and is back at full speed minus that cast. Clearly it makes a difference. Clearly it makes a difference. If you coming around that corner and you got to tackle with hands on you, a lot of times all you got is that one hand to just get your hand on the shoulder pad. And all it takes is that for a quarterback to be aware of your presence and he has to do something different. So you have to be, you got to have your hands free as a defensive end. That's we didn't hear about it. He was almost there. It wasn't like he was non-existent. And a lot of people took that the wrong way. Or, in my opinion, people are just not watching film. All they want to see is how come Haason Reddick doesn't have any tackles or sacks. And it's like, you got to watch the game. He's getting in there. He's hurrying people. He's just not getting home. It was either Sweat or Williams or Carter or Davis. He just wasn't getting around. But he had a couple hurries in there. And you know me, sometimes you don't have to make the play to make the play. So when you look at the film and you see what he was doing, sometimes if he was just getting around there and forcing the guy to take step up in the pocket, that's enough. Get him out of the passing lanes. And then he's pretty much on pace like he was last year. He didn't wake up until week 4 last year. Same thing. But that was more for design because of what Jonathan Gannon was doing. But now he's here, so let's see if we can keep it up. And the big thing is Sua Opeta. I want to see um, how he fares against Aaron Donald. That's what I want to see. These my dudes right here, Herculoids. Man, I don't know why I fell in love with these dudes, but um, like the Herculoids was always like my favorite. Herculoids on the planet Herculoid. And it's so funny how, like, even in the cartoons, like, they live in separate planets, like they in different neighborhoods. So everybody got spaceships. They live in with rocks and primitive technology, but everybody got spaceships and camera views and all that kind of stuff. So you can tell this is like This is the 70s. Because I can look at the animation and tell by the way the characters are drawn. This is not the original like late 60s version of it. This was looks like it was like in the 70s. Oh my god, look at that helmet. He looked like Jason Momoa. Tundra was my dude. Tundra and Egu the Rocket. So you know, he looking like that dude looking like a cheap version of Lobo. Oh, look at that picking up boulders. But yeah, man. So um, yeah, we got some things to do, man. We got some things to do, and we got to get it right. We got to get it right. So let's see. We are back to the injury issues we were talking about. Sidney Brown, Fletcher Cox, Cam Jurgens, and Marlon Tuipolatu. They're all out. Britton Covey is questionable with the concussion, so that'll be like a last minute test to see if he plays. But um, and I made a joke last week. One of my videos, I was saying that Crash Test Covey was dead, and my logic being that now that Britton Covey is a legit return guy, punt return guy, like he's looking good back there at punt. Like something clicked, right? So you can see the difference in his punt returns. I was like, Crash Test Covey is dead. I called him Crash Test because he would take off too fast and wouldn't set up his blocks, and the collisions he was taking was just ridiculous. He looked like a crash test dummy, and like he looked like he was moving so fast, like he got himself out of control, and like he was throwing himself into the wall like a crash test. Um, so Crash Test Covey is dead. Britton Covey is a legit returner now, and he's looking very good. And I would argue that if he keeps going the way he's going, he's going to break one. He's going to break one. He's had a couple of good returns that get us good field position. So finally, Michael Clay and the special teams is not an issue. However, we still suspect the punter. I don't know what it is with us and punters, but we just don't have luck. But um, yeah, he's better. Special teams is better, and hopefully we'll be able to use that to our advantage. So um, let's see what else is going on. There was another part of this. Jurgen, Sua. Yeah, Sua Opeta at right guard. I'm curious as to what they're going to do, what LA is going to do with Aaron Donald. Are they going to move him around? That would be the smartest thing, move him around, and I would put him head up on Opeta. Test him right off the bat. Test that because Aaron Donald can move up and down our defensive line, and you can test who's going to be that dude, who's going to be the weakest link on our offensive line. That's what they got to figure out. And the last couple of weeks, it looks like it's been Mailata. So is he going to stay at that tackle? Is he going to move around? Because if he moves on Opeta, that means Kelsey's going to have to double team him. unless Opeta just, handles them. So it's not too many people that's going to handle Aaron Donald one on one. I could be wrong, but we're going to have to see because he's still a problem. He's still a problem. So we're going to see what they're going to do, but that will definitely be matchups to watch and watch where they line up Aaron Donald during the game because it's going to matter. And we got to figure out um, who's going to be the weak link on our offensive line because that's going to matter. Because anytime Kelce has to help with a double team, that means there's a gap free. Normally he'll help with a double team, but he's looking. So if somebody tries to slip on his open side, he'll come off the block and take him. But it doesn't always work that way because if you have a late twist, if you have a late linebacker blitz, or if they overload one side to another, because every time he blocks left or right, there's one side that can be overloaded. So you could have a late shift by the defense. You could have a outside blitz, so where they're outnumbered on one side or another. So it depends on what they're going to do. And there's a lot of ways that you can do that as a defense. Same thing with Jalen Carter. Jalen Carter, and that's what I mean when I say you don't have to make a play to make a play. If Aaron Donald, Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, whoever, if they can elicit a double team, that means somebody's free. Somebody's coming free. Right? You got 5-on-5. Usually they come with a 4-man rush. You might have a defensive end on one side or the other. Or if you got two defensive ends, or you got somebody like Bosa or somebody like Micah Parsons, is he a linebacker? Is he a DE? Is he the 4-eye technique? Is he down and he goes back? They're just doing all of those things to confuse our offensive line. Our pass rush is ranked 27th out of 32 teams. Yes, it is god awful right now. But it's not. Here's the thing, Robert. The reason why it's like that, again, if you go back to the first couple games, 1, 2, 3, throw. 1, 2, 3, throw. Everybody's getting rid of the ball quick. So it's not like they're patting the ball back there, waiting for those long developing routes. They're not doing that because that's not the game plan against us. The success against the Philadelphia Eagles is get rid of the ball quick. And then you can expose that soft middle because the Eagles haven't figured out a way to shut it down yet. So you are 100% correct. I was looking this up earlier. This is our passing defense. And right now we are at just with yards, we are the bottom 8. Eagles, Colts, Seahawks, Broncos, Commanders, Chargers, and Bears. So we are with the Colts, the Broncos, the Commanders, the Chargers, and the Bears as far as defense. So anytime you compared with the Bears, that's bad for business. That's bad for business. And our defensive line we got a good defensive line, and we getting sacks. You look at the game in Washington. We ended up with 5 sacks. It just didn't seem like it because Sam Howell was ripping us a new one. Stepping up in the pocket. Nobody knew that he was going to be as athletic as he was. Where was that? And that's the thing that we get just by proxy of being Super Bowl runner-ups last year, making it to the Super Bowl, NFC champions. We're getting everybody's best effort. Everybody's best effort. So I'm with you. Our pass rush is better than the stats indicate. But the problem is our coverage is limiting what our pass rush can do because everybody's hitting the quick pass routes. And until we show that we can stop it, until Desai lets these guys come up and play a little bit more man and bump and run, it's going to keep happening. Robert Schwartz had that soft coverage. Gannon had soft coverage, and now Desai. Is this type of coverage coming from Howie? No, it's not coming from Howie. This is when you hear that word Vic Fangio, that Vic Fangio scheme. All of these guys are disciples of Fangio. That's the remember all of the criticism and the nitpicking we gave Jonathan Gannon because we wouldn't blitz enough. But Gannon wasn't giving up big plays. That's the thing. The logic is if you eliminate the big plays, they're gonna get their 3rd and 6s and 3rd and 7s, and they're gonna convert some first downs and stuff like that. But they just don't want to give up the big play. That's the logic of it. That's the crux of it. And I said this last year, for as much as people did not like Jonathan Gannon, it worked. It worked. But to do that, you got to have a quarterback that can score. And we had a quarterback. Still do. So we don't like what it looks like, but we can't argue the results. Now, granted, like I said earlier, with the passing coverage, yeah, Robert, it is crazy, bro. It's definitely crazy. But with the coverage and the you look at what happened in the Super Bowl when the man came in motion and went back out, and we trying to banjo the coverage over, and we just didn't do it efficiently, and they scored 2 touchdowns off of that. Walk in, there wasn't nobody even close to them. They did the same thing twice on both sides of the field, and both times we didn't cover it correctly. So, and then you look at this year, the same thing happened when we was in Washington. That jet sweep, we supposed to shift coverage over. We didn't get over there in time, and the guy was wide open in the end zone. On a I don't know, not even a wide, like a flat route. Flat route is when you get like a yard or two past the line of scrimmage and you just go down a line. You don't get depth or anything like that. You just, so in this case, you getting just past the goal line and you turn around and look for the ball. That's a flat. Usually flats are run by running backs. You come in jet motion and you go up the field, you angle up the field maybe 2 yards, and then you look for the ball. So basically, it's a glorified sweep or handoff, because the goal of that is to get rid of the ball very quickly, almost the same as a running play. The only difference is literally where the running back or receiver or wherever the ball carrier gets the ball. That's the only difference. He's not going down for a 5 or 10 yard in out slant or whatever. Is he's on the line of scrimmage, get him the ball as quick as possible. Now we going back. I'm showing my age now. If you look in the 70s, now I couldn't I couldn't find, like, this is a French version. French next. Yes. Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift. Are y'all getting sick of it too? They sick of it. But Mama Kelsey, she hits the she hits the nail on the head. The NFL is laughing all the way to the bank. All the way to the bank. I talked about this last night. I don't know what was going on with my video or my audio last night. It had camera issues, and then the audio was recorded from 2 different places, so I got this weird reverb, and it screwed up the audio. I'm not sure. I might end up taking that out, but I'm leaving it. But in anyways, last night I was talking. Um, the NFL released a statement about all of the stuff that they getting, all of the attention they're getting from the dating of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. And basically, you see it right here. The NFL has not shied away from highlighting the budding romance, and fans are buying into it. According to the NFL's official e-commerce partners, Fanatics, 87 jerseys recently had an approximate 400% jump in sales. Now, he's already the best tight end in the league, so you know his jersey sales was up there. But to jump up 400% in like 2 weeks because he started dating her, and I ain't mad at him. So the NFL is like, yeah, we know you don't like it, but thank you very much for all of these Swifties that don't give two craps about the NFL, but they paying attention because Taylor Swift is at the game. That's what it comes down to. And the NFL ain't stupid. That shield is about making money. Always have been. They about making money. And Donna Kelsey hit it. Mama said, NFL is laughing all the way to the bank. And they cashing them checks. So, um, the only thing that I think is interesting is how, uh, and I'll say it like this: you don't wish nothing bad on him, but I'm curious as to how long this is gonna last, especially when she goes on tour and everything with that, right? And now, Travis Kelce is under the limelight, right? He's under the limelight. So everything he does when she's not around, everybody's watching. And it's going to, at some point in time, some paparazzi, that's the other thing. Now he's paparazzi level now. So everywhere he go, if he going to mama's house, if he just going to get some pancakes in the morning, everywhere he goes is going to be paparazzi around. And you got somebody itching to be the first person to bust him for messing around or looking at some other girl or something like that. And he's a prime candidate for somebody seeing something but taking it way out of context. He's in a perfect situation for that. The perfect storm. And that will turn into the world's biggest distraction for the Kansas City Chiefs. So I thought Kelce was smart, and they all do. Jason Kelce, and they all do this basically the same way. It's just all the stuff coming out with Kelce and the documentary and all of that kind of stuff. They did all of that stuff in the off season. It's all coming out now. So the first thing people want to say is you're doing too much. And it's like, nah, he did that months ago. They shot that months ago, and it takes all the months of editing, and that takes a long time. So that they plan that ahead so they can be done with it and have it released as the NFL season started. Or it's really they got all season to drop this. So it looks like somebody's doing too much, and you got Taylor Swift and State Farm and all them people, but now they all connected. But he's been doing a very good job of keeping the distance. Jason Kelce has. Travis has been doing a pretty decent job of not ignoring it, but keeping it at arm's length so it doesn't affect the team. But the it's gonna keep growing, especially if he keeps playing well and she keeps showing up because she's gonna keep showing up because they already talked about uh, when she goes on tour in November, so that'll keep her from coming to the games. And then last night, uh, Slay, that was what my video was about. Big Play Slay released a statement asking her not to come to the game. Let's see if I can find that. Let me see. Google Slay warns Taylor Swift. I thought that was interesting. Not invited. Taylor Swift not invited to Kansas City Chiefs Monday Night Football at Philadelphia Eagles. Darius Slay. Just call him Slay. So, but here's the funny thing. Don't forget, Taylor Swift is from Philly. So she might be there. I'll predict that if she comes to that game, she'll be donning the half and half jersey, like Mama Kelce does. So, and it'll still be a bunch of people that appreciate her and her being there and all of that kind of stuff. So, um, it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting. So, and guess what? Jeffrey Lurie would be stupid to not let her come to the game or not get her a box seat or whatever. You know, nah, it's, do what you got to do. Do what you got to do. Man, you can't do nothing. These ads are just brutal now. So it is crazy. It is never thought we would be here. Even with Travis Kelce doing what he's doing and the connection with Mama Kelce and Jason Kelce and how it all gets intertwined and related, and in some way, shape, or form, it falls back in our lap. And with Slay making the comments he made, now you're gonna have a bunch of Swifties coming at Slay. Who knows? But it's crazy, man. It's crazy. So I know you could tell he was trying to make light of it, make a joke of it, but I just think it's interesting in a moment of clarity and honesty. How the NFL was just like, listen, we making money off of this and we ain't gonna stop. So we appreciate you. Keep buying them jerseys. I'm surprised they ain't tried to work out some deal. Well, they don't have to work out no deal with some licensed NFL licensed Taylor Swift gear. They don't have to. She at the game. So all they got to do is show her 16 times in a game, and like, oh my God, please stop. But even Travis was like, yo, this is a lot. This is much. But you knew they were gonna do it. But it did get cringeworthy and cheesy because if you watch her uh, in the booth, it's almost like you can tell the people that she with are like backup dancers and stuff like that. So it even looks like sometimes the celebrations are like choreographed. And like, all right, this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna yell and make our mouth real wide like we do in videos, and we're gonna chest bump, high five, and all that kind of like it looks kind of choreographed. So, but it's funny, man. It's funny. It's funny. It's funny how pop culture and sports, you talk about a whole nother level of popularity, as big as like Kelsey is, and then you bump it up to another level. Travis Kelsey, and then you got Mahomes is at another level, and then you got, um, Tom Brady is at another level, and then you got Taylor Swift, worldwide pop star. That's a whole nother level. You talking about Beyonce, Michael Jackson type level of fame, and all of that attention is focused in one spot. That's the scary spot. That's the when you look at it at scale. That's the crazy part. This woman goes anywhere in the world and everybody knows who she is. If Travis Kelsey travels to Russia or Italy or somewhere like that, there's going to be a ton of people that don't know who he is. Why do you think there's so many NFL guys travel to Europe and overseas? Because NFL, we're still third, fourth, and fifth tier over there because you got all of those soccer teams over there. Basketball players can't do that no more because basketball is a worldwide sport. Football, not so much. That's why NFL is having all these games in London and all that kind of stuff. And next couple of years, they're going to be in Germany. They try to make football a worldwide game. When we went over there, when I played in the World League, when I was in Scotland and Germany and Brazil, and not Brazil, but Barcelona, Amsterdam, the people didn't know who we were. The only people that really had general interest in the World League at that time was in Germany because there is a very large military presence in Germany, and there are a lot of American people and American military people that stayed over in Germany. So you got a lot of, mixed people, and the Western culture, the American culture, is strong over in Germany. So Germany was but they really didn't know about or care about us in London. Scotland, we had to build that audience. We started out with like, 7 and 8 people, 8,000 at a game. You got 7 to 8,000 people at a 60,000 stadium, Murray Field, however big it was. It was, and they were doing all of that. Was the first time what they did was we might have 10,000 people at a game, maybe. And at that point, over there, it's like not much else to do if your football team isn't playing, your soccer team isn't playing. So they did a great job of trying to generate interest in Scotland because that's not a country that would really support American football, but they did it, and they started putting the like you see at the NASCAR events now, where they put the big tarps over the seats, and they just put advertisement and stuff like that. So it's pretty good, but that's how they built it, and they're trying to do that again. So they're trying to build on that audience, and I'll tell you, Germany knew how to throw a party. They like the best experience over there was in Germany and Amsterdam. Germany like they just somebody that was into the things that I was into, because even back then I was still gaming and into graphic design and all of that kind of stuff. I gotta find that video. I got a video somewhere where I was on BBC and I did this whole thing, went into the studio and was drawing. Um, it was is now I look at it as very cringeworthy, but it was cool for me to be in the control room and see how they get on the telestrator. And I was like, I think I drew blood on the Claymore sword. It was all about me being interested. I was special teams player of the week, I think. So it was all about just being involved and interested in graphics and all of that kind of stuff. They made a story out of it, so it was pretty cool. But um, just being over there and generating that interest was really really cool. And it's bigger now than it was before, which is why they're going to London. And if you've ever looked at the London games, you ever notice when they show the crowd, there's not if the jerseys are not for the teams that are playing. The jerseys are all over the place. It can be the Lions and the Bills, and you'll see Tampa Bay jersey, Tom Brady jerseys, Eagles jerseys. You'll see a ton of different uh, jerseys other than the teams that are playing because they sell everything over there. And the people over there, they don't know what to buy. They just want an NFL jersey. And when I think about it, we did the same thing when I was over there in Scotland. I got real big into the goalie sweaters, the goalie jerseys that, you would have a team jersey and then the goalies would always have these bright, crazy patterned jerseys with the big logo in the center. And I thought they were cool, so I started buying the sweaters. And then you find out a lot of teams, you know, I'm just buying what's available and what looked cool to me. Because I'll never forget, they used to have these really nice collared sweaters. The collars would be a different color, team colors, but it would just be almost like the midnight green and then Kelly green collar, just as an example. And they would have the logo, and I thought they were really cool, so I bought a couple of them, right? And I believe I had a Glasgow Rangers jersey, and I went out, and I was going to TGI Fridays, and the guy at the front desk told me, he said, I don't think that would be a good idea for you to wear that jersey. And I'm like, why not? And he's like, just had a match. I think the Glasgow Rangers lost or whatever the situation was. But he let me know in no uncertain terms, like, I don't think it's a good idea for you to wear out. And of course, me, with my American egocentric mind, I was like, I don't give a damn what anybody, I'm wearing my. But I ended up listening to him because I didn't want any trouble. So I was like, okay, I went upstairs, put on another shirt, no problem. Sure enough, walking down, we passed this group, had to be a group of like 8 to 10 guys drunk from watching the game. And over there, when they get lit, they get lit. And fights and all of that kind of stuff about soccer matches over there is standard operating procedure. So the dude was 100% right. If I'd have been wearing the shirt that I had worn, it would have been nothing for one of them guys in that group to say something stupid because they were all drunk, and it would have caused problems. And we're Americans over there, so we're never going to get the benefit of the doubt. It would have just caused a lot of problems. So that's one situation where I am very glad I listened to the people over there. So love Scotland, love Glasgow, Edinburgh. People over there were super nice. I am an honorary Scots, and I will fly that blue and white flag with the white X. Love my Scots, man. Much love to all the people in Edinburgh and Glasgow. So, but saying all that to say that the NFL is trying to get into Europe. They're trying to do what basketball did years ago. The reason why basketball could do it was because basketball is played everywhere. Basketball is still a universal sport. Soccer just overshadowed everything. So they're trying to get over there, and for the most part, they're doing it. They're doing it. If you jump on Facebook, you got a ton of NFL Europe, NFL UK, people that follow the sport all across the league, all across the world rather. Not quite as big as basketball yet, but they're working on it. I don't think they'll ever get that big, but they don't have to be. They're looking at strategic markets on where they can infiltrate, and they're going to try to do that. So I'm looking to see a possible team in London or a team in Germany in the next, I don't know, 5 to 10 years. Probably before that. So Colorado versus Arizona State. Now, I'm thinking Colorado's going to win this game. So um, they started off ugly against USC, and they ended up they should have won that game. Well, they had a good opportunity to win that game. I don't know what it was going on with Colorado's offensive coordinator. He probably burned I'm gonna say about 45 seconds to a minute off the clock by running these inside run plays when they needed to hurry up. They needed to take shots down the field and get to the goal line. And I never understood that. And he probably wasted about 45 seconds off the clock doing that. So um, that would at least given Colorado an opportunity to get the ball back. But because it would have forced USC to have to get a first down. So maybe things can happen, but at least you had the opportunity. So I never heard anything in the press conference about that. If Prime questioned his coaches about that, but that was definitely a mistake. Um, but let me see. Shador Sanders, he got 15 touchdowns and 2 picks. Ooh, this guy's got only 3 touchdowns and 1 pick. Okay. Rushing yards, Dylan Edwards. They don't use Dylan Edwards correctly. I'm sorry. They don't. They don't use him. Same thing with DeAndre Swift. It's like when you got somebody with that type of speed, get his ass outside. Give him a quick pitch or something. Don't just run him tackle to tackle. The kid is, he's a small running back, so he can't run inside all the time. Get him outside in space. Design a play for that. Do something. It's already plays in the playbook. Just pull him out. You got to be able to get that kid into space. Uh, Xavier Weaver, Colorado. I want to see Omarion Miller. They got to get that kid involved today. Got to get him involved today. So uh, that should be a good game. But I'm expecting Colorado to win this game. So we shall see. Prime got them boys together. Prime's got a little bit. He's got some work to do next season in the next couple years of building up his offensive line. And it's very interesting. And this is the thing that nobody really talks about. They talk about his recruiting and stuff like that. Prime is in a situation where um, he can have an immediate turnaround based on his recruits. And he's with the NIL and the portal, he can do that. And it's not like building something; it's an immediate turnaround. And with his notoriety, he can get those players. So he needs a couple of big hogs on his offensive line, and he needs some big boys on his defensive line. His defensive line is fast, but just not very big. A good offensive line will beat up on him. So, and they got to learn how to tackle. So I know uh, with his logic and what he's doing at his history as a DB, you know, Prime would tell you he's not there to make tackles. And that's exactly what his secondary looks like. They're not making no tackles. They're there to cover. They're not built for making tackles. So, um, but they need a little size in the backfield. And I do have to point this out. After that game against Colorado State and Travis Hunter took that cheap shot from Blackburn, I thought it was cool that Travis Hunter went to Blackburn and they did a video together, squashing any beef and all that kind of stuff. Because you know how people get death threats for the key and all that kind of stuff. Now, and I said this before, don't get it twisted. It was a dirty hit, period. I don't give a damn what anybody say. It wasn't a late hit. It was a dirty hit. His purpose was to give him a cheap shot on purpose. That is a dirty play. But The NCAA should have got involved and it should have did some things and took them out of the game. But having said all of that, that's the stuff you're supposed to settle on the field, and they settled it on the field. So I thought it was cool that him and Travis Hunter got together, squashed it out, and he made it right because you don't want the kid getting death threats and all that kind of nonsense over a game. But you know how people do when they can jump online and say what they want to say with impunity. They'll go at it. So I thought it was cool that he did that. Props to Coach Prime for having Travis Hunter do that and getting them together and letting the world know that everything is cool. What happens on the field stays on the field. That's the logic as a athlete or a football player. Not so much anymore now because you got social media that goes off the freaking rails sometimes. I come from a time where if somebody said something bad about you, you were going to see that reporter, news guy, you were going to see him in the locker room face to face. So if he had the guts to write it, he had to have the guts to see you face to face that week, sometimes that day. So it's even the way the news is reported, it's a different breed now. They can say what they want to say from a million miles away on the internet, and they never have to see you. So you have a little bit more respect for the local beat writers and the local people covering the team because they're going to write what they want to write, but they're covering the team every day. So if they write it, they got to see you face to face. And if you got a problem with it, you can call them on it. And some people do that now. Some people don't want to get into um, that type of scrum where you're dealing with people online and stuff like that because it's hard to beat the internet, man. It's hard to beat the internet. And for the most part, most of these writers, most of them, are right in what they're writing their opinions and they're writing based on facts. So a lot of times your feelings get involved and you might feel some kind of way or you taking things personally, but like in Philadelphia, if you sucking on the field, the press will tell you you are sucking on the field. Now, having said that, there are situations and there are people in the media that go above and beyond and take it to the nth degree, and they shouldn't. And they're doing that to get the clicks and get the traffic and all of that kind of stuff. Controversy builds interest. That has never changed. Controversy and sex. Controversy sells and sex sells. And that will never change. So when these but I have seen situations where players are coming back at people. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it don't. Because at the end of the day, if you don't come at somebody like that, you better be right and you better have your receipts. That's why I like what Coach Prime said. I'm keeping receipts. Because it's easy to go back and say, okay, this is up on this date on Twitter. This is what you said. And they can call you out because they got receipts. Now, the interesting thing is, um, a lot of these people on TV now are getting away and putting out inflammatory stuff on purpose, and they are trying to generate traffic on purpose. ESPN has been guilty of this. Stephen A. Smith, Bart Scott, a lot of these guys are. Chris Sims is notorious for this. None of these guys are stupid. And some of the things they say, you got to look with that arched eyebrow, like, dude, what are you talking about? But they're putting that stuff out there, purposefully putting out inflammatory comments because they're going to get the blowback. And whether they get a bunch of stuff, call them assholes, telling them how wrong they are, whatever it is, they are getting all of that traffic. That's what they want, the traffic. That's the only thing that matters because it doesn't matter if a click isn't a good click or a bad click, it is a click. And then you record that traffic, that's how they get paid. That's how they get paid. Everybody's showing up to watch the train wreck. You will always have people that will congregate to tell you you are wrong. And a lot of these people in the media and a lot of these people that used to be on TV, but now they're in the content creation, that's what they're doing. They're generating the conflict to get the traffic. I did a video about ESPN using clickbait, and it was a guy in preseason watching San Francisco and was just bashing Trey Lance. And Trey Lance, if he would have watched the game, Trey Lance brought San Francisco back and ended up winning the game for him. But he picked one play that happened earlier in the game and he just went off bashing him. And it was like, clearly you didn't watch the game. And what happened? He got a ton of blowback, a ton of it. But ESPN got all the traffic. So it was a win. It was a win. So that's the I guess the modus operandi now of a lot of people creating content, especially a lot of guys that used to be on TV. But now they transition to the digital age. The one person I like to watch now, and let me be honest, I even don't a lot of stuff how he comes across sometimes I don't particularly like, and that's Marcellus Wiley. But I watch what he does, and he's got a method to his madness, and he is just going through the stratosphere right now. He got like 100,000 subscribers in like 6 months or something like that. So you know what I do? The stuff I don't like to watch, or the stuff that he does that I don't like, I don't watch. The stuff that he does that I do like, I watch. It's that simple. I don't like everything he says. I don't like how he comes across sometimes. And that's my opinion. So the stuff I don't like, I don't watch. But he does have some content I do like. And that's the stuff I gravitate towards. But I like his formula. So what I try to do is, as an athlete, and this is how we learn, you find somebody doing something that you want to do better than you. And you watch him. So I watch Marcellus Wiley, and I'm trying to incorporate things that I do just like he does. Because he's good at what he does. So learn from it. But so many people get bent out of shape and in their feelings because somebody don't like what was said, or you didn't like how they did this, and it's too many feelings involved. It's like the greatest invention in the world is the on-off switch. Use it. If you don't like something, you don't have to watch it. I ain't got to convince you why I like something. I don't have to convince you why I don't like some of the stuff that Marcellus Wiley says. It's not, you might love it. I just don't. So the stuff that I don't like, I won't watch. The stuff that I do like, I will. It's that simple. People get too much in their feelings these days. Everybody's super sensitive. In an era where you ain't got to see people face to face, people go off the handle because of something somebody said on Twitter or something like that. You will never see that person in life. And I'm glad I was born in the '70s. We were made from tougher stuff, so we don't get 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 1 o'clock. Philadelphia, LA, 4:05. So we're 4 o'clock game. So I will be watching that. I will be taking my notes. I will be doing my normal uh, halftime live stream. I want to do a full game live stream. I know everybody's doing that now, but I want to try that one time. Um, it's very interesting and very challenging because I'm doing broadcasting now, so it's very challenging to learn the things that the broadcasters do. They don't all the training that these guys do. Ex players that go on ESPN and NFL Network and all of that kind of stuff. There is a lot of training that goes into that. It is very difficult to have a monologue for an hour and 10 minutes, and I'm learning that and trying to teach myself the things that you have to do to be better at it. One of the things that the guys that are doing all the YouTube with all the followers, the one thing that they say that's 100% true. Um, every time you make a video, you want to make it 1% better. So every time you make a video, do something to make it a little bit better. And that's one of the things that I'm doing now. Learning how to talk off the cuff, learning how to reduce all of the ums and buts and all of the pauses and the things that you do subconsciously. Uh, that's stuff like that to get rid of the uhs and the ums and all of that kind of stuff to get rid of that. Because if you look at people on TV, they don't do that. And I noticed that, but it is a challenge to get to that point because it's instinctual now. So you have to break that cycle just to be better at it. Because when I edit my videos, all of those ums and uhs I cut out. So you go back, edit it, and get all of that stuff out. They even got software now that does it for you, which is crazy. The software will actually take the pauses and take the ums and uhs and plosives and all of that kind of stuff. It takes all of that out. And it does it in about 30 seconds. It's crazy. So, but any case, trying to get better. Want to get better every week. I love doing this. Love having the cartoons as the background. That's just something personal for me because I love it. You know what I mean? It's an icebreaker. Fun to talk about. Fun to get people talking about cartoons. And if you're just scrolling past this and you see a cartoon up, most likely you're going to stop to see, well, what are they talking about? So, but we're going to keep this going. And as usual, if you like the content, if you like the stream, please give me that subscribe. Click that notification bell so you know the next time I'm going live. I'm trying to do this every Saturday at 9 a.m. The length will vary. I'm going to try to go at least 45 minutes. Today we're at a minute. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. But I'm gonna be doing this every Saturday at 9 a.m. All right. Do me a favor. Go to my channel. Click a playlist, top 10 playlist, and just let it roll. But we're going to keep this thing going, and we're going to have some fun. I will see you guys next week. Tell your friends about me. Remember, this is a sports show, so if you got questions or if there's some things and topics and games you want to talk about, hit me up because that's what we're going to do.